All right, guys, it is coming up this Saturday night, the main event, Vicente Luque versus RDA. Guys, this one has me super confused. Like, are any of you betting confidently? Like, before I start this video and share who I think is gonna win this fight, who do you think is gonna fight? Type it out right now down there in the comments, because in my head, it's all over the place on this one. When I think about it more and more, my brain starts to feel like a puddle of mush, like it's bleeding from the inside. It hurts that much. Was that too soon? I think that was too soon. Sorry, Vicente. All right, guys, seriously, let's look at this fight. Vicente, 3-2 in his last 5. RDA, 3-2 in his last 5. But to me, when you go back and re-watch the RDA versus Fiziev fight, you're really reminded of like how well RDA was actually doing in that fight. Like, he was really giving Fiziev a lot of problems with the grappling, and that is something that could come into account this weekend as well. And for saying that RDA was doing really well, he was doing really well until he wasn't, until he was stopped by Fiziev. And Vicente, his last fight, he's so tough. He's so tough. Like, his toughness nearly killed him, no joke. It literally nearly killed him. And Vicente, he's always leaned on his toughness. He has that sort of like fan favorite stand and bang. He gets hit, he keeps moving forward. He gets hit, he keeps moving forward again. He's like a real life Rocky. And eventually that almost broke his brain, guys. A few weeks ago, we talked about Tom Aspinall, all right? And you're probably gonna wonder, like, why am I bringing up Tom Aspinall? What has that got to do with Vicente Luque? He had a year off because of his horrible leg break, and Vicente's had a year off because of the horrible brain injury. And it is like, some people are playing it down like, oh, it's just a little bit of bleeding on the brain. Like, that's not a small thing, you know? I do feel like this injury is very, very different to the injury that Tom Aspinall suffered. And I'm just gonna bring up the Tom Aspinall injury because it's something super recent. It was a super bad break and it's happened in our mind, and we've just seen someone successfully return and come back from that. So the thing is, Vicente's always been a gritty, rely on his toughness striker. And Tom Aspinall has always been a really good boxer with some wrestler, and his dad knew BJJ, but he was a great boxer. He was great on his feet. He wasn't scared to throw the leg kicks. Now, Aspinall talked about how he knew that one day that knee was going to go because it always bothered him in training. And when he came back, he started doing the rehab and he slowly started getting back into training. And I talked about in my video leading up to that Tom Aspinall fight, I am sure that Tom Aspinall has kicked the shit out of a heavy bag 100 times, 200 times. I am sure that going into his return fight, he knows that he can rely on that knee, and now all he has to do is get over that mental hurdle of being back in the O2 arena, back in the cage, and is he gonna live up to the fans' expectations? Now, Vicente Luque's injury, no doubt it's caused long-term damage, but he has obviously been cleared to fight in the short term. Everything seems to have healed up perfectly. But how do you test your skull? You can't exactly line up people or sparring partners to knock you out or bash you in the head as hard as possible while you're leading up to a fight. And this is where the difference comes in. A doctor can tell you that everything is all good, but until you go and throw that leg kick, you don't know if that knee is all good, you know, in here. And with Vicente, it's the same. Like, a doctor has told him, like, you're all good, you're healed up, you can go back in, you're cleared to fight. But in here, are you? And is that going to affect him going into this fight? I don't think brushing the last injury off, like it's not a big deal, is the smartest move to make, or is even a move that Vicente might be conscious of doing. I'm sure in his head, he's 100% going to go ahead and fight this fight as best as he can. But when those jabs and the crosses and you start feeling that damage coming onto your face, who knows what's going to happen to him in there? Like, is he going to just give up? Are we going to lose the fight in the fighter? That to me is one of the things that I am so interested in seeing this weekend. And if the old Vicente is still in there, he knocked out Belal Muhammad with the same shot that Fiziev got on RDA. And if that dogfighter is still in there, then RDA might be able to out-grapple him for the first, maybe the second, maybe the third. But that boxer and that fighting style of Fiziev, is going to start to come out. Like, this is a 5-round fight. That's a long fight. That's a lot of grappling. And it's only going to take one good exchange to put a man of RDA's age down. You know, like, he can be stopped on the feet. Fiziev has the strength to do that. I just don't know if he's still got the mental capacity to do that. RDA can out-grapple and out-grind Fiziev here. Like, there is a path for RDA to win this. I just don't know who's going to be the one to do it. But if I had to pick someone, I think RDA has still got that dog in him. I think RDA has the experience in him. I don't know if I can trust Vicente coming back until I see him actually come back. So I could easily like sit down here on Monday morning and be like, he's back, everything's good, we're back on course. But to me, RDA could have won that Fiziev fight, and that still makes him a highly, highly capable fighter. If he's still here and he still wants to be in the UFC and he's still got that cardio, I'm going to be picking RDA to beat Vicente Luque over a 5-round, dirty, split decision. That's my pick for the weekend, guys. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments. Who do you think is going to win this weekend's main event? I'm very keen to see how this one goes down. Guys, if you've been enjoying these videos, maybe consider subscribing, and I'll see you all in the next one.